According to latest surveys that I can understand from the open sources, the popularity of Mr. Erdogan is in a huge decrease. If I'm not mistaken, it's around 30%, more or less. And his most important allies, the Nationalist Movement Party, even cannot pass the threshold. But I would like to mention here that the closest elections that will take place in Turkey, it's in 2023. So we have lots of time until then. But besides that, given the fact that many people have lost their jobs because of this pandemic, let's say restaurants are locked down and they can only provide services like takeaway, and many other of course sectors are also very much badly affected. The tourism sector was very badly affected. The aviation sector was badly affected. Let me provide you a concrete example. Last year in 2019, Istanbul's two airports, the Istanbul Grand Airport and Sabiha Gökçen Airport, together they hosted more than 90 million passengers for a year. It's a huge number. And now, taking account that these two big airports are shut down, so it is having enormous effects on the Turkish economy. Recently, we happened to see that when the Turkish government openly told the press that they have no intention to take new credit from the IMF, and they don't want to sign a new standby agreement with the IMF. So we happen to see the huge devaluation, the unprecedented devaluation of the Turkish lira. It reminded us the same devaluation that happened in 2018. But let me, this time, in 2018, it reached to seven. $1 was equal to 7 liras. This time, it reached to 7.19, almost 7.20. So how should I say? The Turkish citizens are very much vulnerable. They are becoming more and more poor. Their strength of buying from from Europe and from other countries is getting it's becoming weak and weak and weak. And as a result, as far as I understand, many Turkish companies are going to declare bankruptcy, and instead of having a concrete government aid on this issue, the Turkish government asked people to donate money so that the government can distribute that particular money to the needy. So it's alarming. The Turkish economy is alarming. And but in Turkey, in order to create an impression that the business as usual, that Turkey is a very strong state and Turkey's situation is far better than any other state in the region. So the Turkish administration is using this nice propaganda machine of sending lots of humanitarian aids to various countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, Spain, Italy, Northern Macedonia, and others, so that they can show to their people, the situation is very, maybe the worst situation that we could have seen, but our situation is far better than the situation of the most developed countries, the richest countries. So you should be thankful that you're living in the boundaries of the Turkish Republic and you are Turkish, because we are a weaker state, but we are capable of providing aid to these states. And as a result, this public relations campaign, as far as I understand, pays off. It's also good for Mr. Erdogan's reputation, both at home and abroad. I must admit that while by doing this, from my perspective, Mr. Erdogan is also trying to mend the fences with the European Union. We can remember that last February, after that the Turkish armed forces soldiers, 34 soldiers were killed by Bashar al-Assad in Idlib. Turkey opened its borders with Greece and wanted to create a refugee influx into Europe. So, as far as I assume, the European decision makers and, of course, the Greek decision makers did not forget that. And I really don't think that they will be bribed by this generous Turkish humanitarian aids. From my perspective, it is insufficient, but Turkey has to do that in order to mend its relations with the West, because the Russian bear is creating to Turkey real headaches in Idlib and in northern Syria. So all of a sudden, Turkey remembered that it was a NATO member, and that's why Turkey did not uh, did not begin to use the S-400 systems, and they are still in their packages, so that the United States will not be, upset.